Review on the East Carolina game. Really a tale of two halves. First half I felt like we came out and attacked and played well in a lot of areas. Caused 3 turnovers that were huge, and they were able to get points off of one of them. And then obviously the big stop there on 4th and goal from the 1 right before half. And really felt like we had good momentum. We talked all halftime that it's going to be a 4-quarter game. We knew that we were probably going to wake them up a little bit in the first half, and coming off of a late night game the week before, and we'd have a chance to go in there early and get up. And we knew that it was going to be a big time second half. We're going to need to play well, and unfortunately we didn't. I think the 3 turnovers that we had kind of flipped the script in the second half. We turned the ball over 3 times, had the 1 pick six, which was critical. The combination of that, and then also defensively there in the second half, we had many opportunities where we had their offense in 3rd and 4th down with an opportunity to get them off the field. And you got to credit their quarterback, really good player, and he made a lot of plays. We missed some tackles that allowed them to stay on the field. And I think they had 5 drives of 10 plays or more. And so we really couldn't get off the field. And then the turnovers we had, and a couple of lack of execution offensively in the second half led to the end result. So obviously disappointing, and really the message to our guys is, hey, early in the year we kind of got off to slow starting games, and then we figured it out in the second half and played better in the second half. And in these last 3 games we've kind of done the opposite. We've come out attacking and aggressive in the first half, got off to a good start, and then not able to really execute as well as we need to in the second half. So for the last 4 games of the season, obviously you got some big time opponents on the schedule left, but our goal is to find a way to go out and be consistent with our execution for 4 quarters, because that's ultimately what it's going to take against the teams that we have left on the schedule. This week it's homecoming week. We're excited about that. It's always a lot of good things going on during homecoming. I was able to go out to an event last night with a lot of the students and be able to speak and be there with them, something that was not able to do last year, obviously, during the pandemic. So I know there's a lot of things planned around our campus for students and alumni, and homecoming is always a important week, but I think this year it's even a little bit more special because it's coming during our 25th year of our football program. So I know there's a lot of throwback stuff that we're doing for that, and I know we're looking forward and excited about that. Excited about having many of our alumni and students at the game this Saturday night versus Houston. Houston is a team coming in with a lot of confidence. They're a top 20 team. They've won 7 games in a row, and I feel like I say this each week, but I think they will be the best defense we've played to this point. I think the stats would back that up. They're number 4 in the country in total defense. They're number 1 in the country in 3rd down defense, only giving up 25% conversions on the season. They're 10th in the country in rush defense, and they're 18th in the country in pass defense. And so they're outstanding defense, very fast, aggressive. They have 2 defensive linemen that will probably be top NFL draft picks that have created issues for everybody that they've played this year. Their offense is very explosive, some of the best team speed that I think that we'll have played up to this point. So definitely they're going to be able to try to create some matchups that we're going to have a plan for. And then obviously the thing everybody knows about is they got one of the best kickoff returner and punt returners in the country. This young man has either 8 or 9 touchdowns in his career in returns, counting his playing at Troy, what he did at Troy, and then what he's done now at Houston. So they're a really good team coming in, and really the message that I've had to our players is, hey, we got 4 games left of the season, and we have made progress through the first 8 games. Obviously, we haven't been able to turn that into the number of wins that we all wanted or expected. But really, this season is going to be based off how we finish, right? Everybody remembers November. And man, we got a big time. All 3 of the schools that are leaving to go to the Big 12 are on our schedule here the last 4 games. And then the next 2 teams we play at home are obviously the top 2 teams in our league right now. So, many people may look at that and see a lot of challenges and adversity, but I choose to see it as opportunity. And I just I just truly believe the way this group has continued to work behind the scenes and continue to push forward each and every day, despite getting the results that we all want. I just really believe that there's going to be some good things ahead in the finish of this season, and one of those opportunities will be right there in front of us this Saturday night. So looking forward to that, and I'll open it up for any questions.
Do you kick it to Marcus Jones? What's the plan?
Yeah, good question. Well, maybe the one thing that is not always out there is it's not like there's an easy alternative, right? I mean, you can have options of trying to pooch the ball and sky kick the ball, and then you're giving the ball to them at the 40 every time. You can squib the ball, and then they turn around and pitch it back to him, and now it's messed up all your timing. So we're going to do. We're going to have several plans, and we're going to have to go out and execute those. But you can't just do one thing the entire game. Hopefully Spencer's leg is feeling good. He's done a really good job this year, kicking a lot of touchbacks, and that's the first thing that you'd like to do is be able to kick the ball out of the end zone and not let him touch it. But you have to have a plan to do several things. Obviously, punting is the same situation. They know he's a dangerous returner, so they bring a lot of pressure, trying to get you to hurry up and kick it as fast as you can and get the ball in his hands. So, we'll definitely have a plan. Coach DePrada has really, in my opinion, looking at the season through 8 games, I feel like our special teams has been the most consistent of the 3 phases, which that's a really good sign. But we're definitely going to be, that group's going to be challenged this week as well.
Why is that such a good sign for special teams most consistent?
I would just say because typically it all runs down to special teams. Because special teams, they get their players. Special teams doesn't get first pick of the players, is what I would say. So typically, when you find a team that's rebuilding like we are and maybe thin in some spots, the group that suffers the most is special teams. You see a lot of miscues there because their best players are all playing offense and defense. So I think for me, obviously I want our offense to be excelling and going full speed ahead. I want our defense to be playing better than we are. But I would just say as you're kind of building and spinning several of these plates, if you know that you have consistency coming with your special teams, that's going to keep you in games, right? And then ultimately it's the offense and defense being able to be consistent and execute that gives you a chance. But if you're not consistent in special teams, then you can lose games really quickly, right? With block punts or kickoff returns for touchdowns or, not being able to make field goals. And so that group has done a really solid job. I think Coach DePrada deserves a lot of credit because it's not just coaching, but it's getting the team to buy in. Because special teams is one, it's not as popular or maybe as fun sometimes for guys to go play special teams, but every time we have a special teams meeting, we keep all the players in there because we want to make sure everybody knows it affects everybody. So now our job is to get our offense and defense to play to a consistent level, and then we'll be a lot closer to where we need to be.
What was the benefit for Timmy physically, mentally to not to play, and do you anticipate he'll be good to go and back in place?
Yeah, we do expect him to be back for this week. I think the biggest thing, it was kind of a combination of things last week, right? I mean, I think the short week, him being injured in the last game, him being banged up going into the last game, and then turning around and having a short week, know that you have 2 practices, basically Sunday and Monday, and having to make a decision of who are we going to put all these reps in. And I think for us, it was just a decision that we felt like it was number one in the team's best interest to let him rest and be able to recover and get back to 100%. I think for him to really be able to help us offensively like he did early in the year was whenever he was healthy and felt confident and could play fast. And I think he's a guy, again, he's willing to play through some injury. He didn't want to sit out. He wanted to play. But I also knew what our finishing schedule was going to look like, and I knew that we were going to need him to be full speed to give us a chance in some of these challenging games that we had ahead. And then the other side is I wanted Trey Marsh to get an opportunity. We as coaches get to see practice, and Trey's done a really good job in practice. Honestly, from the East Carolina game, the pick six is really on me and on our coaches. There really is nothing he could do. That was a very distinct formation, and we honestly just kind of went to it one too many times. Putting Weaver out there in the 9-man, I know that was Gregory out there by himself, and throwing the out cut. We've done that many times, and it's a kind of a formational thing that you see, and ultimately the DB guessed, and he was right. If we would have ran the double move instead right there, then maybe it's a touchdown right there, but there wasn't anything he could do on that one. He threw the ball on time. Their guy guessed and made a big play, so you got to give their coaches and their players credit on that, and we as coaches take responsibility for that one, because we probably went to that one too many times. The other two, he threw one just too high. We had a guy, Gregory, open, and the ball slipped out of his hand, went high, and then the one to Weaver was behind Weaver and was a tip ball. But he did a lot of other good things in that game, going out in a wet game, for us not to have any quarterback center or mesh situations or fumble the ball, just from the quarterback and running back standpoint in the wet game, and just overall managing. I thought he did some good things, but when it comes down to close games, those turnovers turn into critical. Not just giving the ball to them, but it's one less series that you have to drive the ball and to be able to go and score. So we believe Trey has a big future. I don't think that Trey's time is over. He's going to learn from it. That was his first game starting since a year ago. But I think ultimately we felt like it would be best to let Timmy be able to rest and get back to full speed. And the last thing I would say is East Carolina was a blitzing team. We knew they were going to be very aggressive, and to put somebody out there that's not quite 100% in those conditions, we didn't think was our best move. But we expect him, as long as everything goes well in practice this week, we expect him to be back this week.
Jeff, you mentioned the wet ball. Did that ultimately play a factor? The weather ultimately play a factor in not going with Timmy as well?
Yeah, I think we were probably already there before the weather. But we felt like the rain. I'm always a guy that's trying to turn a negative into a positive. So we kind of felt like the rain would help us, knowing that East Carolina likes to throw the ball and is really talented at quarterback and wide out. And we felt like it helped us create some turnovers, and it did there in the first half. But I think we were pretty much, by the time we got to Thursday, we pretty much had made up our mind what we wanted to do.
For Trey, is it nearly just as simple as maybe reading a progression more, or something like that? Because he looked pretty locked in on Gregory on both of those interceptions.
Yeah. Well, the one, Greg. I mean, that was where the ball was supposed to be thrown on the first one. Like I said, it's a soft corner, and there was no safety help, so the corner has to stay back. He was backing up because of, again, a tendency that we have given. That's why I put it on myself and our coaches. A tendency we had given. And they told the DB, hey, next time they do that, why don't you just show like you're backing up, but be ready as soon as he throws it, go and take a chance, and we'll live with it if they do the double move, right? It's kind of a cat and mouse. So he did exactly what he was supposed to do. That's on us. The other one, the ball, it was a double move, and Gregory was open about 25 yards down the field, and he threw it about 40 yards down the field over his head. And then the last one to Weaver was an RPO, where he goes from either handing it off to turn around and throwing it, and I don't think he got his feet really set. He threw the ball behind Weaver. Weaver tried to do that, just kind of some bad luck right there. So I don't think the one I would say would be the one that maybe he forced to Gregory, that he threw it too high, probably too tight of a window and forcing that one. But the other two, I don't think it was poor decisions. I think one of them he just threw behind, and like I said, one of them they guessed, and they were right. But he was behind on a couple of the throws. He made a couple of nice throws. The touchdown was a really nice throw that he made. But he's been doing an excellent job. You talk to any of our players, he's thrown the ball extremely well in practice. And I'm just proud of how he's mentally matured from where he was a year ago to being able to go out in that atmosphere and in the rain and playing a good team. That was another positive. East Carolina, they had maybe 5 sacks and 13 tackles for loss the week before, I believe, against Houston, and we had no sacks and 2 tackles for loss. So that was a good job by him of being able to identify the blitzes, communicating with his back and the offensive line, and being able to try to limit the negative plays.
Coach, you have a chance to win 2 in a row. Short week, you're playing in a monsoon. It's almost been like crisis after crisis after crisis. Do you feel like the Pharaoh, expecting to see Moses and the locusts show up every now and then?
Well, yeah. You know, this is what I would say. I'm proud of how our guys practiced last week during a short week. And that was difficult. We completely changed our routine. We practiced at night. Every night we were out here till 10 o'clock at night. And just completely changed it up. And our guys were ready to play. And they played pretty well the first half. Ultimately, we didn't play well in the second half. And that starts with us as coaches. We have to figure out why that is and be able to put them in better positions, and then they have to make the plays. And we had some opportunities on some of those third downs in defense where we had a guy right there, the quarterback's right there, and their guy, you know, our guy falls down, and the guy goes and gets the first down, and that leads to a touchdown. So I think that was the big message for us on Sunday when we came back is, listen, everybody's got to take ownership in this. I feel like we went from a year ago where we probably didn't belong on the field with them, we didn't belong on the field with Tulsa, to now a year later, like we belong. But it's not enough just to belong. Now it comes down to playing well, right? But these are kind of the graduation steps that you take when you're building a program. And obviously, you know, starting with me, I want it to happen right now. You know, we all want to win, you know, but you know, we are seeing progress. And I know that's not fun for everybody where we are right now, but I would be a lot more concerned if I felt like you just saw a lot of mistakes, a lot of guys just giving up and going backwards. I mean, our guys they're believing and they're playing hard. We're just not playing well enough, and that starts with us as coaches. We got to do a better job with them, get them to be able to execute in some of those situations, and then you know they got to be able to go out and execute for 4 quarters, and that's ultimately kind of where we are now at this part of the season.
Jeff, how do you stay so upbeat and positive when things aren't going your way, not just game to game, but just overall?
Yeah, well, I would say probably my time with Coach Sweeney at Clemson. I would say probably during my early years at Clemson, I was a little bit more of, I wouldn't say I was a pessimist, but I was probably more of a realist. I was kind of right there in the middle. And we had some tough years early on with Coach Sweeney. His second year, we went 6-7. We lost to South Florida in the bowl game. And I think it was right after that bowl game against the South Florida loss. And I remember Coach Sweeney's in the press conference after that game, and there was a lot of people wondering whether he was going to be fired because it was kind of a failed experience. And Coach Sweeney said that he was more convinced than ever that we were getting ready to turn the page. And he said, and that was 2010, he said the next decade is going to be the best decade in the history of Clemson football. And it's like, but that's how he spoke to the team. And it wasn't some Pollyanna thinking, but it was choosing a positive mindset over a negative mindset. Sunday, I put up our remaining 4 games, right? Number 19, Houston, number 2, Cincinnati, at Tulane, and at Central Florida. And, you know, my challenge to the guys is, what do you see when you see this schedule, right? What do you see? People on the outside, they may see a lot more of the same, a lot more struggle, a lot more. But what do you see? Because me personally, I see opportunity. I see opportunity for this team to be able to go get some of those big wins that we've been building for, right? And that's really where it starts. It's the mindset, and that's honestly part of my optimism for where we are right now is being around our players every day and seeing the way that they have changed their mindset and the way that they show up every day, and it matters to them. I'm not sure sometimes last year if it really mattered,